Good morning to everyone and welcome to the Data Visual webinar series. This is a webinar series in the context of Data Visual, a project founded by the Erasmus program of the European Union with the aim of training professionals on big data visualization skills using storytelling techniques. I'm Gianluca Vagnarelli, the founder of iStrategies and an official partner of this project. I will introduce you to this webinar to the data visualization through storytelling. So what you will learn in the next minutes. Considering we decided to design our webinars through short video pills of knowledge, we will focus on single cases. In this way, you can have a concrete example of what we mean for big data visualization using storytelling techniques, starting from concrete example of it and not just from theory. So the case we will investigate today is the case 1, and its name is What Works is What Matters. And what can we learn from this case? Through this case, we will learn that we can have also unusual case of unusual data we can visualize, not only the traditional digital data. We can learn how to make more engaging data visualization, and we will see what does it mean, story, in this case of data visualization. And I will share at the end of the webinar, at the end of the slide presentation, references in the case you would go in depth into this case. So this is the plan. We can move forward. The name of the case we will investigate is What Works is What Matters. This is a case in which we have an excellent, I think, combination between data visualization and science communication. And because we are talking about a PhD thesis synthesized in a poster. Indeed, the poster you can see in this slide is based on Isabel Latham PhD thesis at the University of Worcester, and the title of the thesis was What Works is What Matters, an ethnographic study of how care workers in care homes learn to care for people living with dementia. So, in short, to better target people interested in the research findings, especially care workers, Isabel Latham summarized her PhD thesis using a poster. And the result is this beautiful and effective, from my point of view, in terms of communication, illustrated poster. Indeed, as you can see in the next slide, the poster describes, using illustration, how care workers learn to care for people living with dementia in care homes. For example, in the arrow on the left, you can see that one way to learn is obviously to have a training on the subject. Or another way is arrow on the right, interacting with colleagues because they can share their knowledge and experiences and so on. So in this way, the poster provides essential information to care workers, catching their attention easily. An objective that would have been difficult to achieve if the PhD thesis findings had been disseminated in a traditional way, for example, through scientific articles or conferences. So the key element in this case is the capacity to represent easily through illustration the data inside collected through the PhD thesis. And this is the informal and creative approach that Isabel Latham created, underlining the key ideas, the key concept using data representation. And in this way, the poster significantly increased the social impact of the PhD thesis we are talking about. So what we can learn from this, what can we learn from this case? At least 3 elements. First one is that data you can visualize are not only big data, the traditional big data, digital data, but also other kinds of data like content of a PhD thesis. The second element is that the biggest challenge in a data visualization is always an effort of synthesis. Why? Because obviously, if you want to synthesize an entire PhD thesis in one poster, so in just one page, you have to choose what kind of data you want to visualize and what kind of them, what kind of data are the most representative, are the most effective through to sharing your knowledge, to share your key concept. So you have to pay attention on the representativeness of the data you are going to represent, you are going to share. So this is the biggest challenge, because you have to choose to decide what to show and what to hide. Third element to underline, because we are talking about data visualization through storytelling techniques using stories, is the fact that to make your data visualization engaging, you have to add in it the human factor. And in this case, the human factor consists in the fact that you have people in your data visualization. You have people in the sense that you have people affected by dementia, the elderly. You have care workers. You have other kind of people. They interact each other. So this is an element that I personally, in my personal experience, is the key element for an effective data visualization through storytelling, because you have to remember that people do not emphasize number, people emphasize other people, other stories, because they can recognize themselves into the people they see in the data visualization. So this is the key element to add, not to have not just cold data in your data visualization, but to add to the cold data also human stories. So the human factor, if you want to have an effective data visualization through storytelling. So this is what, in summary, we can learn from this first case. This is the reference about Isabel Latham PhD thesis. And so in the next webinar, we will see another concrete case of data visualization through storytelling techniques. So thank you very much for your attention, and see you in the next webinar.